All right, so today was a pretty exciting day for me. I got a package. I got a package from Ukraine, and I did this. I'll explain it all in a little while, but I have an old um, balalaika or balalaika, um, which my mother and my aunt got for me years ago in St. Petersburg when they went to visit. They had been to Russia as children, so they went back to kind of check it out. And they came back with this balalaika, which I'll show you in a minute. So I'm in the middle of redoing my studio, which is, if you look at any of my other videos, that's what I'm doing musically. And then I have another area where I rant about politics. And I've done a couple of videos on Ukraine and, blah, blah, blah. So I was looking at my balalaika and I decided, well, it needs new strings. Now I know I can rig it, but there's actually special strings that are made for the balalaika and the dama, I think is how you pronounce it, and the balalaika, and several other instruments. So I found this guy in Ukraine, and that little blue dot right there, that's where he lives, in Ukraine. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of the city. It's Chemlin Daskif. There's too many consonants in a row, so I don't know what to do. But anyway, you can see that he's like halfway between Kiev and the Polish border, and he's right in the middle of the heartland of Ukraine, so I'm sure that's some farming wheat territory. I don't know how big the city is that he's from. So I decided to order some strings from him, and this was a while ago. This is when the Russians were bombing the living crap out of Kiev. It was amazing to get this thing. I'm gonna do a little unboxing here and show you the. All right, so pretty exciting. This guy's name is Roman Volkov, and they put phone number. They put my phone number, and they put his phone number as part of the address. I guess that might be standard procedure, but I don't know. This country, don't trust too many people. So anyway, let's see what I got. Whatever. So I ordered these balalaika strings. There's only three strings on a balalaika. I'll show you my balalaika in a second. First, let's check this, how he sent this. And it looks like he spent the time to cut out these little cardboard flaps from a box of something. Whoops. Yeah. Maybe there's somebody out there that knows what this is or how to say this. I have no idea. I don't know what it is. It's a bear spinning a beach ball, and it looks like there's some wheat, underneath it. Some wheat product or something happening. And the other side is some other puffs, part of his box, the box, with this bear spinning a beach ball. And then there's another wheat thing up at the top, and then it says a bunch of stuff that, sorry, I just don't know how to read any of that at all. So I guess you got to do what you got to do. I'm assuming that this is just not his normal practice, but I'm keeping all of this stuff because this is just golden memorabilia for me. So, wrapped it up in plastic. I mean, it's pretty nice. I mean, it's kind of homemade, but at the same time, it's pretty damn nice. All right. So these are the balalaika keys. There's a little picture of a balalaika with some roses. It's a beautiful picture. And then here's the other side of it. Oh, pretty nice. And always have problems opening these damn Ziploc pieces of. Well, I wasn't sure whether to put my Shrunken Head logo and use this, because this video kind of crosses over between my ranting and raving about politics and international affairs and my little musical studio thing. So, well, kind of hard to separate things out in this world, in this life. All right. So, I'm assuming that this word here says balalaika, and then up in here, I think it's, he's saying balalaika strings. I don't know if that's Russian or Ukrainian. I don't know. Somebody knows, let me know. So these strings open up, and that's the only way that they're wrapped. They're all in here. There's 3 strings to the 2 E strings and then the A string. And I thought that maybe I could just use some old guitar strings and put it on there, but I don't know. I ran across this guy in Ukraine, and I just thought it would be maybe if I ordered something like balalaika strings from Ukraine, that it might give at least that one person a sense of normalcy in the middle of this frickin' ridiculous Russian attack on this sovereign country. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the balalaika. So this is my little balalaika I've had for, I don't know, probably 20 years or so, or more. Let me see if it's semi in tune. I've been kind of playing it a little bit. This thing is definitely made to Dick Dale, and you guitar players know what I'm talking about, which I have not quite perfected. But this is a beautiful little instrument. I don't know what it's worth. There's an engraved. I don't know if that's. I probably can't get that where you can see it, but it's got the engraved. It's all in either Russian or Ukrainian. The only thing of it is there was this damage, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but it didn't really hurt the playing of it none. But there's a huge. You can see how thick the lacquer was right here. This thing was really. So I don't know. I might fix it one day, but I think it plays pretty good. I mean, I know that how you're supposed to hold it, because I actually have a Mel Bay book on playing the balalaika, if you can believe that. here's some. Anyway, I will probably never be proficient at this, but I think I'm going to write I've started writing a song about Ukraine, and let me just tell you how I came to get this. Now, my mother and my aunt, who are both passed away years ago now, in their childhood, spent about 2 years in St. Petersburg. My grandmother, who was very much a British socialist, dare say she was probably even a commie. But you have to understand, she was raised in the northern England, from Bolton, around Manchester, and that's really highly industrialized area. From what I gather, I've never experienced it. I was there when I was a child, 1 year old. I just don't remember. And I have actual relatives, second cousins, and things like that are around there. But anyway, my grandmother worked in this sweatshop, so she's worked from the time that she was like, I don't know, I think she said she first started working when she was like 10 or 11 years old, working in these industrial sweatshops, making, garment, making whatever it was, And she did that for years until she was about 16 years old. And it was so hard and so cruel. They barely paid her. They had not passed the British, child labor laws yet, and this is like probably back in just at the turn of the 18th, 19th century. My grandmother was born in like 1899, something like that, and I knew her quite well and had long conversations with her about it. And once she moved to the United States after World War II, she fell in love with the United States. She was still kind of a socialist, but she just couldn't believe. She would go to the grocery store and just be amazed at the amount of food, and just how could people, take any of this for granted. Of course, my family on my mother's side, really experienced World War II. I mean, a bomb hit my grandparents' house. It didn't explode, thank God. My mother was in secretarial school in London during the Blitzkrieg. She was like 16, 17 years old. Having to spend many nights, in the London Underground because of the Germans coming over and bombing London. So I really familiar with, secondhand feelings anyway of what this cat in Ukraine must have been going through. So anyway, my aunt was going, we spent a lot of money on this. And so I got curious and I went, well, how much did you spend? Geez. She went, almost $100. And I was like, holy jumping Jesus, There you go. So I got to thinking about this because on the back of it, if you can see, there's a picture of a Cossack. And I know that the Cossacks originated in the Cossack Mountains and the Ural Mountains, and parts of Ukraine were involved in it. And The only other thing I'm going to say about Ukraine and this Russian instrument is the Ukrainians. This is just as much a Ukrainian instrument as it is a Russian instrument. Although I don't know how long that'll last. But the history of the balalaika is a whole nother thing. I think I'll do another video on the history of the balalaika because it's very interesting. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I'm just excited. I'm going to put brand new strings on this thing. But you can hear how long that rings. These strings that are on here are probably 20 plus years old.